Love on the Spectrum is a documentary series that follows young adults who happen to be on the autism spectrum as they navigate the complicated realms of love, dating, and relationship. The first series aired on ABC in November of 2019. A second season was confirmed in 2020 and was released on Netflix on September 21, 2021. Season 1 made quite an impact and was met with rave reviews, and now that the second installment has just hit Netflix, we can get a much deeper insight into how things are similar yet different for each of these brave souls. So, if you're wondering what has become of the Love on the Spectrum cast members since their stories were first told, keep watching. Ronan and Katie. Even though Ronan Sousa lives with his parents and brother, he proved on more than one occasion he can be fairly independent. He once worked as a camera assistant on a commercial project, and today he volunteers at Sydney Motorsports Park. He's also a gifted tuba player with the Sunderland Shire Band. The one thing that was missing in his life, however, was a partner to share it with. That's why he chose to start dating while seeking out the help of a trained specialist. After having a session with Jody Rogers, Ronan's self-confidence and conversational skills improved greatly, and he was finally ready to go on the first date of his life. Unlike others in his shoes, Ronan was not shy or apprehensive. He just wanted to get out there in the world and start living his life. And that's where he met Katie. Ronan and Katie's first date consisted of a picnic followed by a playful game of ring toss. Watching the two interact, you immediately get the impression they have tremendous chemistry. So it wasn't surprising they went on a second date together at an arcade, where Ronan taught Katie how to drive a race car. It was a magically innocent moment. But the best part about Ronan and Katie's second date was when they shared a dance in front of a busking pianist. It was touching to see them realize just how much they have in common. From art to music to food to race cars, Ronan and Katie overlap in so many ways. But the most important thing is they always understand each other. That's why Ronan finally asked Katie to be his girlfriend on their third date. Both Ronan and Katie seem to keep most of their personal matters private on social media. But from what we can tell, they're still enjoying a happy, healthy relationship. It looks like Ronan is also still keeping busy with his multitude of hobbies like drama, karate, piano, rock climbing, and learning to drive. Katie, on the other hand, doesn't post much on her social media, but hopefully she and Ronan will have all their dreams come true together. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Trender if you haven't already, and keep watching to find out what the remainder of the Love on the Spectrum cast is up to. Jimmy and Sharnae. Jimmy and Sharnae first met at a career center not long after they graduated from high school, and instantly after meeting, sparks began to fly. Even though they both knew they were different from some other people, it was Sharnae who first helped Jimmy discover he might be on the autism spectrum like she is. Jimmy and Sharnae went to see Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them on their first date and held hands for the whole film. They then proceeded to move in with each other to embark on a new chapter of their lives. In Season 1, Jimmy went down on one knee and proposed to her during a romantic getaway. It was a heartwarming and emotional moment. Jimmy and Sharnae's Season 2 appearance revolved around their trip to Las Vegas, where Jimmy competed in a billiards competition. It also featured their lovely wedding. Not only are they still together, but their relationship is stronger than ever. Sharnae admits that at times it can take her and Jimmy a while to communicate because of their autism. But on the flip side, it also makes things a lot less complicated in their relationship. For one thing, even when they do get into a little spat, at least their arguments don't last very long, since they get straight to the point. They say what they mean to say and get it over with, just like pulling off a band-aid. Jimmy and Sharnae know their lives and minds are a bit different than others, but it also seems as if they've grown tremendously both in love and as individuals since entering into each other's lives. Jimmy apparently now works as a school janitor, while his wife works as a cashier at a Woolworths in New South Wales. In the summer of 2021, Jimmy started a YouTube channel where he spreads awareness about autism spectrum disorder and shares his personal experiences. Sharnae often joins in for the videos, and the couple show off various aspects of their relationship. Teo and Rosie. Teo was adopted from Romania at age 3. She then spent half of her life in Texas before moving to Australia with her loving, understanding, and ceaselessly supportive family. She was diagnosed with an autism spectrum disorder a couple years after being adopted, but fortunately she's had a remarkably supportive network of friends and family. So, it shouldn't come as a surprise that Teo's dream was to one day find friendship-based pure love just like her parents. Unfortunately, she also has crippling anxiety, and her mind tends to jump all over the place when she starts thinking about all the terrible what-ifs that could happen in a relationship. This fear has historically caused her to isolate and shy away from developing meaningful relationships. But after having a productive session with relationship specialist Jody Rogers, Teo was finally ready to give dating a go. That's when she met Morgan and Rose. Teo knew she prioritizes personality over gender, but she arranged for a date with both a boy and a girl to see where her attraction would take her. Turns out she's more interested in females. Teo ended up confessing all of this to Morgan and ended up being his friend, but her time spent with Rosie took on a more serious tone. After feeling pretty positive about their date, Teo ended up scoring a second date with her. After their time on Love on the Spectrum, Teo and Rosie shared an update that they had formed a connection that had grown as far as both of them saying "I love you" to each other. But not long after declaring their feelings, they decided to take things slowly. Today, they're simply good friends. Like Teo, Rosie is also autistic and has ADHD, and as far as we can tell from their social media, they are both single and relatively content. Jayden and Dan. Jayden grew up in a home where very little was ever imposed upon him or his younger brother, who is also autistic. Because of the openness in this household, Jayden knew from an early age he was not straight. He identifies as bisexual and says he realized that when he was in what he calls his middling adolescence. His brother also identifies as gay. But even though he came to terms with his sexuality fairly quickly, Jayden only recently realized he's autistic. He tries his best not to conform to social norms, but he does whenever they make sense and have a firm logical basis or history behind them. After deciding he wanted to enter into the dating world, Jayden went on 2 dates, one with Charlotte, the other with Dan. Both panned out pretty well, but Charlotte simply wanted to stay friends after spending time together. In fact, they still meet up regularly. Dan, on the other hand, had a lot of chemistry with Jayden. The sparks began to fly as soon as they began their romantic date together. They even shared a brief kiss together on their second date. Sadly, we're not sure whether Dan and Jayden continued to pursue their relationship. They both keep their private lives private, so not much is known about them, as their social media accounts are likely set to private. Michael. Michael is a fan favorite who has appeared in both seasons of Love on the Spectrum. He longs to find a partner, to one day be a husband, and to own a house of his own. The only thing he says is a deal breaker is if his date is a tomboy or goth, or if she doesn't like to dress up in formal attire at times. The 27-year-old has tried his best to find love, but things haven't worked out for him so far. We witnessed him go on dates with Amanda and Heather with little success. As such, he has decided to pump the brakes, at least for the moment, in terms of his search for love. He says he's currently focusing on spirituality instead, in hopes that finding his soulmate might happen naturally. Mark. Much like Michael, Mark has appeared on both seasons. This 30-year-old aspiring paleontologist who's obsessed with dinosaurs experienced his first taste of what being in a relationship is like when he went on a date with Chloe Hatch, but their romance quickly fizzled. Mark continues his search looking for his soulmate, but he seems to be relatively happy and healthy. Reportedly, he works part-time at McDonald's in Bateau Bay and lives in Central Coast, New South Wales, next door to his parents. He also enjoys biking, reading, video games, and working out at the gym. Now it's time to hear from you. What was your favorite season of Love on the Spectrum so far, 1 or 2? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Trender if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.